Yo, what's up? Welcome back to Money School. Today, we're talking about compound interest because most y'all making financial decisions where you're not getting the benefits of what compound interest can be. But if you do it like I'm gonna teach today, I'm gonna show you how you can literally turn that into infinite amounts of wealth. Let's go.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. Yeah. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
That's right. Today we are talking about compound interest. I'm gonna help you understand what that is. And this is a pretty bold promise, right? How to compound investments for infinite wealth? Come on, that sounds a little bit too good to be true. Or is it? Compound interest? I know I've heard that before. Did you know that Albert Einstein said that compounding interest literally is the most powerful financial invention of our day and age? It basically means that, let's say that you had an investment that was earning 10% a year. Compound interest means, hey, if I put out $1,000 and it makes 10% that year, then 10% of 1,000 is $100. The next year, my $1,000 will not be earning 10% interest, but last year's interest as well. So the 1,000 plus the 100 is $1,100 now earning 10%, and each year after it grows. Compound interest, in theory, over time, should start gaining some momentum where, if done correctly, it could get totally out of hand.
This is getting out of hand.
For example, like, you know that I love real estate. So like if I buy a house and let's say that it's earning 25% a year. Well, guess what happens if in year one I earn 25%, year two another 25%, that's like 25 plus 25, that's 50. 75%, 100%, sell it in the fifth year. I have a chance that if I'm earning 25% each year, after 5 years, I've doubled my money. Now, if I double my money, I could sell that house and trade it for what? I could trade it for 2 houses. But if each house is now earning 25%, then they're earning a combined 50%. Let's just say 5 years later, I sell them, I double the portfolio again, I now have 4 houses. And if they're each earning 25%, with the power of compound interest, I'm now earning 100% a year on my money. Can you believe that? That once upon a time, I threw some money right here. $50,000 down payment on real estate. And now by the 10th year, I'm earning $50,000 each year. What about 5 years later? 100% becomes theoretically 200%, then later 400%. In time, it becomes something really, really, really powerful. On the other hand, this wouldn't be money school unless I also gave you a caution. Did you know that real estate performs so well because it is a double-digit ROI? 25% is 2 digits. But you see, most people aren't doing that kind of return. They're doing 401ks, they're earning their money in IRAs, or maybe they're putting money in the stock market like the S&P 500. All of those on average are earning single-digit ROIs like 5%, 6%, 8%. And you know what? Single-digit ROI doesn't look like this. In fact, you could throw money at those vehicles for a whole lifetime and wind up with literally almost nothing because compound interest is only interesting once you hit double digits.
They just gave my brothers double digits.
So what I want to do today is I want to talk about this. Your most valuable asset is not money. It's time. And if you want to make your time more valuable, you have to find investments that have higher ROIs than single-digit ROIs. Check this out. This is the strategy that we're going to talk about today, and this is why I can make such a big promise about infinite compounding effects of wealth. You see, with compounding ROI investments, it's all about a system used by financial geniuses consisting of 5 vehicles that I'm going to reveal today for building wealth. Leveraging all 5 and then reinvesting the surplus produces a compounding effect so powerful that you create a lifetime of wealth within just a few short years. Now, for you to understand the strategy that I'm talking about today, there are 3 steps to set this in motion. You're going to want to take notes because guess what? School is in session. The 3-step wealth creation is a cycle, and it starts with step 1, knowing how to reserve money, step 2, knowing how to invest it, and step 3, knowing how to convert it into more investments. So take a look at this wheel, because the goal is if you follow this, in time it can move quicker and quicker and quicker, which spins off more and more money. It starts with step 1 on reserving. And that means that you're setting money aside. Like you're working hard at your job. You're earning money all year round. And while most people are check to check, you got to be smarter than that. You got to set a little something on the side so that you can do step 2, which is to invest it. And today I'm going to share with you the different investment vehicles that I'm leveraging that I think you should use if you really want to be that financial genius. And then the third step is your investments are going to produce cash flow. They're going to increase in value. How do you reinvest that through this process to make this wheel move faster, faster, and faster, which creates this cyclone of wealth? So let's break this down for you because I really want you to understand this truly at a granular level. You see, if step 1 is all about reserving money, this has to do with stashing cash. You work hard at your job, you set money aside. What should you do with it? I'll tell you what sheep will do. They're literally putting their money in 401ks, they're putting their money in IRAs, and the problem with that, again, is it's only earning single-digit ROI. So over time, it doesn't ever really give you this hockey stick growth curve that you want. You need to find something more aggressive. And society says you should avoid risk, but with risk comes reward. If you don't take enough risks, at the end, you might find yourself financially missing so much money, you're just screwed. So check this out. Step 1 is all about reserving that capital. It's critical that you set an appropriate amount of money aside. How much money should I set aside? Check it out right here. I think that you should be saving at least 20% of your earnings. Now I get it. For a lot of people, that's aggressive. Like, Kris, unless I'm in the practice saving, like that's a lot of money. Like, is that even possible? If you can't do 20%, then do 10%. Oh, but Kris, 10% would be tough. Tough luck. This is about paying yourself first. This is about your financial future. Like, you can't ignore this. You can't afford to just have a job so that you can pay your bills, or else those bills, those financial decisions, those debts, those liabilities, they own your life. The only way you get out of that and actually get breathing room, become financially free, is you have to have leftover money. Do not wait for what's left over at the end of the month after paying your bills. Retract that money first, claim it, make it yours. It's set aside for investing. You can literally put that in a bank. You can literally put it in a life insurance bank account. Most importantly, just stash it in a place where you know when it's time to do step 2 and invest, you got a little bit something set aside. Now, obviously, this is pretty aggressive. I call this an aggressive saving strategy because you've got to move your ASS for leveraging financial fuel into your investment vehicles. I'm telling you right now, this is probably the most important decision that you're ever going to make in your life. How much can you set aside? Now, if you're setting aside 20%, I want to challenge you to make that 30%. If you're setting 30% aside, I challenge you to make that 40%. And here's why. What if setting this money aside and investing like this meant that you're going to have to delay the gratification of the things that you want today? But what if it also meant in 5 years that you could have anything that you wanted? It took me 4.5 years of leveraging this system before I no longer had to work. I could quit my job. It was one of the coolest days of my life. Like literally, I got into my BMW convertible. I flew down the road to my job. I got nervous when I walked in my boss's office. I asked for a crazy, obscene $70,000 raise. He laughed, I laughed, and I said, I got to be done. And Aaron thanked me, and I walked out that today breathing oxygen, like fresh air, like something that I've never breathed before. That was 16 years ago that I've been living completely financially free. And you know, it feels so good. It was so worth it to delay gratification for those 5 years and allow my investments to ultimately work for me and make enough money for me so that I could live the life that I am today. The question is, if you're saving that money, what should you be doing with it? This is the exciting step. It's step 2. It's all about investing. And no, I don't mean like the traditional stock market. I don't mean 401ks. I don't mean IRAs. Did you know the average person in their 60s that has been 401king, IRAing, house payer offering has on average $200,000, and yet they're living on average off of $90,000 a year? They only have 2 years worth of living by the time they enter retirement. So then they have to go into pure fear and scarcity by lowering their standard of living and trying to figure out how to spread that. And then they go and get a job at Walmart or wherever they can be hired on at the end of their years. Fortunately for modern medicine, it's going to keep you alive for another 30 years. Yay.
Yay.
Nope, you need to do something very, very different. Here's some things that I would consider. Your goal is to reserve enough of this financial fuel, as I call it, the money that you're setting aside, so that you can put it in 3 specific vehicles. And you know what? I've got them labeled right here. These guys are NASCAR fast. We're gonna start here with the sports car earning 25%. I do that through the game of real estate investing. And then to get 500% ROIs, that's a triple digit ROI. I do that through investing in slivers of companies that I think are going to be the next big thing. In the link below, you can get my book. I explain how it all works. You can even get 5,000% annual ROI when you own your own business. That's called a quadruple digit ROI. And then finally, infinite ROI. This comes when you leverage some of my strategies for literally creating money where it doesn't even take money out the gate. It's called OPM, other people's money, and it's all about borrowing money because you're so good and confident making money off of it. All of these strategies right here are the investment tickets that are aggressive enough so that you can reverse the flow of the sands of time and start getting some time back. Now listen, today I own hundreds of properties, I own hundreds of businesses. Altogether, I've got wealth literally coming out of my ears in all these different places because wealth is a system. And before I teach you how to convert that to really spin up this cycle of wealth, I want to draw attention to the fact that I've got a book for you. It is a must read. I think in today's brand new economy, this is the #1 financial book that is designed to really teach you how the wealthy create wealth today. The book is called Have It All, and it's my roadmap of 5 specific investments that I'm just starting to touch on a little bit here. And the good news is the book is free. It's a gift from me to you. Why? Because were you financially educated by your parents? Did they really teach you how to build wealth? Did you learn it in junior high, high school, college? Most people don't get this education. I've taken upon myself to put this information out there for you so that you can learn how to do it. So in the link below, you can get my book and I will teach you this entire system for free. And the third and final step is that you've got to convert all of the benefits of your real estate, your business, etc., into increasing the speed and pace of this wheel. For example, let's just say that you find a way to buy a property with no money down and it's producing $500 a month of positive cash flow. What should you be doing with that $500? Well, listen, if you got into a property that required nothing, you might find another hot deal that requires $5,000. Well, after getting a little bit of cash flow built up, guess what you have? You now have money to do another deal. And in the meantime, you might have started a little side hustle. So if you take the advice in the book that I'm talking about, you're now building all these streams of income and they start giving off these dividends, right? What are you supposed to do with these distributions? Well, you reinvest. What does it do? It speeds up the compounding effect. I'm telling you right now, most of the wealthy people that I know, they created all their wealth in under 10 years. Many of them, they created all their wealth in under 5 years. Once you understand the rules that I'm laying out here today on Money School, this is how they do it. This is what you need to do, which is why I've given you the manual in the link below. Now you have to understand that your investments are going to do 2 things for you. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to spin off some type of cash flow. This means that every month there's excess money. If it's a business, after paying all the expenses, there might be $1,000 a month or $5,000 a month or $50,000 a month. If it's a property, for example, then after your tenant gives you the rent money and you pay the mortgage and the expenses, there's leftover money. So that's the first type of money that's going to come back to you. The second one is your asset should be increasing in value over time. And often we can go back to the bank and actually pull some of it out or sell it and then actually get a bunch of money, like in the real estate example I showed you earlier. And so you're looking for investments that have both a cash flow component that also go up in value. And if they do, then when the time is right, you can sell them, you can refinance them, you can take a loan against them, they're giving you distributions, and boom, you pop them right back into your reserve vehicle until you're ready to deploy your next investment, and everything starts moving incredibly fast. You know, I went really heavy into real estate when I started my portfolio. And my wife really struggled to want to come along and support me on that first deal, but she did. And when we moved into the upstairs, the 3 bedrooms and 1 bath, we were able to rent out a separate unit in the basement. And the basement was enough money to cover the mortgage. And all of a sudden, my wife became excited about what we were doing because we eliminated our biggest expense. A year later, I went to the bank and said, hey, I need to pull out some of the equity. The house was worth now like $150,000. I paid $110,000 for it. The bank said, hey, we'll give you a $20,000 line of credit. I'm like, great. I got the line of credit. I used it to buy a second property. That one I rented out completely and made $600 a month. So just think about that for a moment. Living for free and then getting paid $600 a month on the second house, that was huge. Because it made sense, my wife got really excited. She says, Kris, we can do this again and again. So I got a 3rd house and a 5th house and a 10th house. And I just kept on going. In time though, I didn't even need my own money because now I had a more valuable asset than money. I had a track record. And so my father-in-law decided to invest with me. And then strangers, like other people that had been watching my success, started to do that. And it's now snowballed into this thing where it used to be $12,000 a month, then it became $20,000 a month, then it became $100,000 a month. Now I have excess of $1 million a month. The number just keeps on going up. That's the cyclone of wealth that I'm talking about that I teach you right here in my book, Have It All. Listen, this is the 5th book that I've written, but this for me is really my magnum opus. I spent more time, effort, and energy on this book. I rewrote it several times because I wanted it to be a masterpiece work of art, especially if you download the audiobook. Spent 3 days recording it. This book truly explains step by step how you can start literally in debt or from behind or with nothing and get somewhere in a very short period of time, or how you might already be that millionaire next door that wants to multiply that into 20 million or $100 million. This year, my net worth is expanding 9 figures. That means over $100 million. Why? Because I've got 18 years from the time I started to now using the system again and again and again. And the cool thing is it works. It works in up economies, down economies. This book captures the essence of financial education that is missing in the world, and it's gonna do wonders for you. So make sure that you click the link below, pick up your free copy, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. I get it. Today I didn't talk really in detail about the 5 investment vehicles that I use, but you know what? Have no fear. I made a video that will teach you how to use all 5 of them and just how fast they can get you where you want to go. Click right here and I'll see you there. Place where I like to set it aside. I came back to here. Let's change angle. I don't like that start off. Let's kick off a different one. It's critical that you set an appropriate amount of money